Welcome to the Vine Resources Podcast Show.
Welcome to another edition of the Vine Resources Podcast Show. Today, I'm delighted to have with me Richard Hartley. Richard is the co-founder and CEO of Cytora. Richard, thanks for joining me.
Great to be here.
Richard, and I'm wonderful to be in your offices today, and I have to say it's a fabulous environment walking in the building here. Richard, I'd love to find out a little bit more about your company. If you can give us just a brief introduction about the business.
Absolutely. So Cytora help the commercial insurance industry target, select and price risk using artificial intelligence and billions of external data points. We help the kind of average business find a fairer price for their insurance. We do that by giving a more kind of truer representation of the business. Insurance companies ultimately price that more accurately instead of kind of relying on small amounts of data, using huge amounts of data to really differentiate the risk at the highest level of granularity. Helps the insurance company deliver insurance in a more cost-effective way, and it helps the buyer of the insurance get a fairer price.
Fantastic. And this is an industry that hasn't changed a lot in a number of years. What are you seeing as the opportunities for your customers to use your services, for example?
Yeah, so I mean, you're completely right. The average age of an insurance company today is about 95. When you look at the kind of FTSE 500, the oldest companies are insurance companies. So by definition, they haven't changed a lot in the last kind of 100 years. We're really helping them change that by bringing cutting edge technology to how they ultimately select and price risk. That's really, really hard because ultimately insurance, one of the most interesting things about it is you don't know the cost of the insurance at the point you have to price the policy. If you think about you buy a laptop, it's already been manufactured, so you already know the cost of it, so you can charge a price that covers the cost. The event happens or doesn't happen way out in the future, so you have to predict what that will be. That's really, really hard to do. Historically, insurance companies have used people to do this. We're helping them by using data. We bring in huge amounts of data, we use algorithms to learn the patterns of good and bad risks within the data, and then we help them use that to ultimately make a better prediction and set a more accurate price for an insurance policy.
And you're around about 60 to 70 employees, aren't you? And your customers could be anywhere in the world, is that right?
Yeah, we've grown really quickly. We've doubled the size of Cytora in the last 8 years, and that's really been driven by customer demand. So really, really exciting place to be. Our customers are mostly in the UK and Europe, although we are expanding to Australia and the US. But our core focus is on the UK.
Well, I'd love to know a little bit about what a typical day looks like in the leader for you, especially as a fast-growing company. Can you share with our listeners a little bit about what that looks like?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm probably, to my benefit, but also kind of problem is I'm quite an obsessive personality. So I wake up quite early. I generally have a kind of early call with our general manager in Australia, who's obviously on a different time zone. So he's probably operating around 8 o'clock his time in the evening. We then will have probably a very brief, what we call sprint planning, just to get everyone in the room of a particular team and kind of work out what did we try and do yesterday, what are we doing today, and we pick up anything that's probably really, really important or really urgent. I then probably spend about 30% of my time with customers, making sure we're delivering products that generate value to them. I also work quite closely with our kind of talent and hiring team. We hire the best people, focusing on quite differentiating people who have a peculiar view of the world, who really can bring that to bear on how we think about the problems we're solving. And lastly, I'm obviously responsible for the financial health of the company. So I also work on our kind of general investment strategy and relationships with shareholders. So in the evening, I probably catch up with a few calls with some of our investors.
It's a full-on day.
It is, yeah, but it's really fun. I kind of learn so much. So a growing company always has tremendous volatility,
of course,
but it's also truly exciting.
Yeah, I agree. What perhaps over the years, is there anyone who's been a mentor to you, perhaps someone you've looked up to? And can you share perhaps a little bit of insight into that and how they've helped you?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'd probably pick out our first investor, Paul Forster.
Okay.
Paul kind of started 2 companies. The second company he started was Indeed.com, the vertical search engine. He grew that company 7 years to exit of 1.4. And yeah, but Paul always kind of, he invested originally in Cytora about 4 years ago, but he was always very, very clear on focus. Make sure you're just doing one thing really, really well and relentlessly execute against that. That was important for me because I'm someone, I have like quite a few ideas, But yeah, Indeed.com did one thing very well, that was build a job search engine. And that's the kind of insight I've brought from that and tried to apply to Cytora.
Fantastic. What about employee engagement? Now the company's growing, what do you do from the top, particularly to keep your employees engaged?
Yeah, so we think a lot about giving our employees a line of sight.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see an empowered team, they know what they're building, they know why they're building it, they know why it's changing the world, and they can connect an individual task that might take a day to complete to a mission which might take 5 years.
Yeah.
So I work a lot on the kind of reasons why we're doing this, and developing that into language easy to ultimately understand, and gives employees a kind of meaning about why they come to work. And for me, that's really about fairness, taking an industry that has been traditionally quite opaque and making it fair, and kind of also making insurance something that people actually feel value from buying, rather than a lack of trust. So that's some of the more qualitative reasons why people come to work here, and they're excited by changing a paradigm. Obviously, everyone, but I think only kind of being big doesn't resonate. It's kind of ultimately like, why are you doing it? So I think there are more philosophical dimensions there. So I think about what the values of the companies are, what the mission of the company is, and what our vision is for the future. And I try and over-communicate that. That's probably a learning I've had in the last kind of year or so, is you can kind of say something once, and some people understand it, but if you say something again and again and again, people really start to listen, and that's important for a leader.
What do you think the biggest challenges facing business leaders in today's market?
I think it depends a bit on what type of business that they're running. I think for a company in my stage, I think it's ultimately about how do you scale quickly, which is often empowering people around you rather than trying to do everything yourself.
Yeah.
So when I think about kind of how do you move from a 70-person company to a 700-person company, it's about setting incentives and hiring people who can do a better job than you in particular areas, ultimately allowing you to gain leverage. For a larger company, I think it's often how do they disrupt themselves? How do they become a company before a startup replaces their business? So I think that if you're running a large insurance company today, it's basically how do you keep hitting your quarter by quarter targets, but at the same time, over a 5-year trajectory, fundamentally transform what you do. So you're still around.